Okay, so here is another chess situation which is given in this diagram above. And the question then is, in this position, white can mate in one move. Supposing here are the, if we play with white, and here are the white pieces, right? Two rooks, one pawn, one bishop, and one king. Is it possible for white to mate black? Black king is here, it has other black pieces, but black king is here. So can white make such a move which is a checkmate, or it cannot mate in one move? That's the question here. And if white can mate in that one move, we have to draw an arrow showing that mating move, meaning which white piece is moved to create that checkmate, and where exactly this piece is moved, showing the move. So let's think about this. We notice the black pieces here and white pieces are here. And in those white pieces, there is a pawn here. And given the distance between black king here and the pawn here, they are really far away, right? So even if this pawn is moved, it's not gonna put this black king under attack because this black king is not in the near vicinity to this pawn. It's far away. So creating a checkmate with the pawn is not an option here. What about other pieces, which are these two rooks and one bishop and this one king? So with the king, it's the same story as the pawn, like this white king and this black king, they are really, really far away. And kings can move with smaller steps. So by moving this white king, it's not going to be possible to put this black king under direct attack from this white king. So pawn, which is here, and the white king, which is here, they are not going to be possible to create checkmate in one move on the black king here. Then what about this rook? This rook, which seems like it's the line of attack from this rook to this king can be made open. So rooks can move either horizontally or vertically, right? And so for a rook to create attack on this king, it has to come in an open line of attack within the same column or within the same row, but the row is immediately blocked. So any attack from the white rook to this king can only be possible in either in the same column or in the same row. And white rook can move in the same row here. If it moves up, it can move here to capture this black rook and put the king under attack. So that's one possibility. And if this white rook is moved to the right, then it comes in the same column as the king and there is no blocking piece in between them. That is another move for this particular white rook to create check on the black king, right? So for this rook, we see two possible ways to put this king under attack. What about this rook, right? This rook can only move in the same row here or in the same column. And if it is moved, and it can attack the black king either by this row or in this column. So if it is moved up like this, it goes to this particular square which is in the same row as this black king, but it is blocked. This row is not empty, it will be blocked. So moving this particular white rook here is not resulting in a check. Then alternatively, it can be moved towards its right to reach this square. And from this square, since this square comes in the same column as the white king, this square creates creates a check on the black king, right? Moving this white rook here can create a check on the black king. So for this white rook, we have one possible check move, which is to move it all the way to the right to this square. And then from here, check. And we saw two possible moves for this rook. So there are three possible checking moves for white now. One piece is remaining, which is this white bishop here. Can this white bishop be moved to attack the king here? And we know that bishops can only move diagonally. So the only way bishop can attack the black king is through its diagonal direction, which is this. Only one diagonal direction is open, which is this, and this direction contains all squares which are black, and the bishop is on a black square, and it if it moves diagonally to this square, we saw that this line of attack is open to attack the king diagonally, and then bishop can be moved to come in this line of attack. So yes, one possible move for this white bishop to move and be put here, and then this line of attack creates a check on the black king. So one move for the white bishop. So we saw two moves for this rook, which is to move it all the way up to capture this black pawn, black rook, and attack the check king from here. Or this white rook, it can be moved to the right and come here. And from here, it attacks the king like this. This is a check. So two for this one for this one, which is to bring it all the way to the right to this square and then attack the king from here. This check. So one possible move for this white rook, two for this, and one for this white bishop, which is to move it diagonally here and use this open diagonal direction to attack the black king from here, right? So four possibilities. Which of them is any one of them a checkmate? And if yes, which one is that particular move? That's the answer we have to find out. So we are going to play this out. We have created the similar situation on this chessboard below, right? And here is the black king, and here are the white pieces, which is this rook, and then another rook, and then the white bishop, and these will create the check on the black king. So let's go to the first rook, which is here. Let's move it all the way up to this square and capture this rook, and think about it. It will create a check on the black king, which is just right next to it. But this square seems like it can be attacked from this black rook, right? If the white rook comes here, it can be killed using this black rook, right? And then the king will not be under attack anymore. So moving this white rook all the way up to capture the rook and check the king is not a checkmate. Let's let's think about the alternative move, which was to move this rook to the right. If the rook is moved here, right, to the right, then this square is not being attacked by any black piece right now. The king cannot attack it. The rooks cannot attack this particular square because this is not in the direction they can move, and no other black piece is in a position to attack the white rook here. So white rook will not be killed here to neutralize the attack. There are a few empty squares in this line of attack, and but there is no black piece which is in a position to move to any one of these, right? So the attack will not be blocked also. The only piece that can be moved is the king in this line of attack, but it does not take it out of the attack, so the king cannot move to these empty squares, right? No other black piece can move to these three empty squares to stop the attack if we move the rook here. So blocking the attack is not a possibility. Killing the white rook in this new square to neutralize the attack is not a possibility. So what is left? The third move to try for the black is left is to move the king out of this line. The king can be moved in two ways here, either down or this diagonal down. And we already saw that this new position will be under attack from the rook's new position here. So moving here is not an option. What about this? This square is not under white attack anymore. So moving the king here will take it out of the attack from rook here. So that particular check will not also be a checkmate. So using this rook, we saw two possible moves, which is to move it all the way up, capture this black rook like this, and then check. But this position is under attack from the black rook here, and this black rook moves to capture the white rook, and the king is out of danger. Let's go back. And we saw that second possibility for the white rook, which is to move it here, put the king under check like this. But the king then can flee out of this attack by moving to this new square. This square is not under white attack, so king is out of the danger. So this is not a checkmate. Let's we figured out one possible check move with this particular rook, this other rook, which was to pick it, move it all the way to the right to this square, and then this black king is under check from here. Right? It can move vertically up to kill the king. But this new square is it under attack from any of the black piece? Is it possible for the black team to neutralize this attack, which is from this rook to the king right now, by killing this rook, killing the checking piece? And the answer is no. Right? There is no black piece in a position to attack this white rook directly. There are two empty squares in between the white rook and the king, and we see that no other black piece can come in between them and block the attack. No other black piece is in such a position right now. So blocking the attack is not a possibility. Killing this checking piece is not a possibility. Only remaining option is to flee out of the king a situation, like move the king to a new position away from the attack. The only possible two ways in which king can be moved here is come down one step, which is to move it here, or come diagonally down by one step here, which is to move it here. The left is blocked, right? And we see by coming down one step, it does not go out of the line of attack. And even by moving diagonally down, it comes into this line of attack from the other rook, right? So only two fleeing positions for the king are not actually flight squares. They are both under attack from the white. So we see that this particular move is a checkmate. So yes, we can create the checkmate. Let's go back to the original position, which is here. If we move this particular rook to the right and check the black, it is a checkmate move. Okay, let's go back. So yes, if I have to answer this particular question, it would be yes, white can mate in one move. So the option 1 is the truth, option 2 is not. And we have figured out, but we also figured out one more checking move, which was with this white bishop down. And we figured that if we move the white bishop to take this particular square, it opens a line of attack and it puts check on the black king. Now, is this attack something that can be neutralized by killing the white bishop? It does not look like it. No black piece is in a position to kill it. There are a lot of empty squares, and yes, it is possible to block the attack on the king by moving this particular black pawn by one step and block this line, or by moving this particular rook to block this line, or by moving this particular rook. So there are a lot of possible ways in this attack from the from the white bishop is blocked, right? So this is not a checkmate. Let's switch back to original. Yes. So our answer to this question is yes, white can mate in one move. And if I have to draw an arrow, that arrow would be to move this particular white rook all the way to the right to capture this new square and attack the king from here, right? So yeah, let's quickly check the answer. And we see white can mate in one move. One of white's rooks, which was the rook we identified, keeps the black king imprisoned while the other delivers the mate. Yes. So this will moved here. The king will be under check. It will try to flee, but if it flees, the other one kills it and puts the mate. S- Thank you.